Looking to pick up your very own custom sleeves? Well, look no further. Go to yourplaymat.com where you can choose to have your very own image on the back of sleeves, or you can choose from their amazing range of pre-designed artwork ready and waiting for you. Get them shipped directly to your door and use the affiliate link and discount code down below to get 10% off. What are you waiting for? Go and grab your custom sleeves from yourplaymat.com.
What's up YouTube, Dow here from Zephyr War Games, and today I'm going to bring you a test hand video for the Synchron deck that I've been showing off for the past few days. If you want to see more from this deck like duels as well, please smash that like button, get the video to at least 50 likes, and I will bring that for you. Other than that, we are going to shuffle the deck up, and we're going to do one test hand going first, one test hand going second, just to show you the consistency and the route of plays as you go. So, after a very decent shuffle and a good old cut, our opening hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, a very decent hand. We've got a lot to play with right now, so we've got a lot to bait out. So these two straight away can bait out hand traps. Off the back of that as well, the normal summon of the Junk Synchron later on down the line can bait out a hand trap as well. So I would probably start with tuning. Because at least this one will give you an excavation which can set up your Junk Synchron plays instantly. The only downside of what you could possibly mill would be if you mill the Ant, or if you mill the Converging Wheel. That's where it can kind of hinder your combo, but you can still make plays anyway. So shuffle this up. The excavation on the top card will be Illumination, which is a bit annoying because it means we haven't got another search target for the Stardust, but it still puts in the works. You're absolutely fine. You've now got your perfect discard for your Dawnwalker, so you're going to discard that straight away, setting up your graveyard. So it basically puts a card in the grave that you want there. Resolving the effect of this, of course, if your opponent didn't ash the tune in and decides to ash the Acasta or Gamma the Acasta, you still maintain your normal summon of the Junk, and you've still got the Synchron Overtake to special summon a monster as well. Plus the Stardust. So shuffling all of this up. We're then going to sync these together. Again, you are running the risk that if you do decide to, or if you don't decide, but if you do excavate too many parts of the Arriving Light combo, it can be a bit annoying, but you still get plays to make anyway. So Chaos Dragon, excavate top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably for the sake of combo orientation, you're going to take Doppel Warrior, but you could take Veiler if you feel that you've got the combo down of what you need. This actually works out incredibly well with the Doppel Warrior because we milled the Illumination. So, tomato, tomato, we've actually got a lot to do. So what you're going to do here is your Stardust is going to tribute the Chaos Dragon and summon itself back. Now obviously you have no effect to search, so you can then just trigger out the Doppel Warrior straight, and that will summon itself down. Then what you can do is you can then activate your Illumination, adapting the level of Stardust to make it a level 3, yeah, that's right, and then sync for a level 5. The best thing about syncing with Doppel Warrior to go into your speeder is, apart from obviously Imperm, you can chain block, oh, and Veiler as well, so like Ash you don't need to worry about at all. So you go chaining 1 speeder, chaining 2 Doppel. Doppel will give you 2 tokens. If you want to get your tokens, get a marker and some Doppel Warrior commons. Homemade, the best way. And then the best of that, because you've got a clear board, you get to summon out all 3 of your Synchrons to give you the maximum possibility of going as far as possible. So Stardust and your Synchron. Now remember, this Stardust is banished because it used its effect to tribute back, and also keep in mind that you can't bring this one back later on, as it is a once per turn. So this is where you want to spice it up now, keeping in mind that you need to unlock 2 spaces in order to resolve the Arriving Light play. So what I would advise doing is synchro 1 token with your Stardust, just so you can gain a bit of hand advantage, because you're now going to get all of the bricks out of your out of the deck that you don't need to worry about. So TG Librarian is actually going to put in a lot of work for you. Now at this point is when you want to activate the Arriving Light, because you've freed up a zone and you're going to free up another zone. And what you want to do here is you want to stack the deck with, of course, the only target you want. Where are you? Oh, did we excavate the Converging Wheel? No, we didn't. I was like, oh, I don't remember the converging this. So there we go. There's a Converging Wheel. You're going to put that to the top of the deck. And it's very important the effects you use of this, because Hyper Librarian is mandatory. If you use both of these effects to draw, you will miss the timing on the Converging Wheel, because apparently in 2021 they wanted to make it a 1 effect. Now to protect the rest of your board going forward, you would sync your Junk Speeder and of course your Synchron, and you're going to go into a Crystal Wing. So you're going to use TG's effect. So maintain your normal, your draw and your special with this. So you're going to go in Converging Will special. Off the back of that, you're going to special out the Baby Mud Dragon. Now this is actually putting a lot more work for me than you would naturally expect, purely because it can chain block certain things. If you make it with Junk Speeder, it can, or make Junk Speeder with it, and it can also help turn your Crystal Wing into a Dark, or your Librarian into a Dragon to help get you into Abyss a lot easier as well. So from this point here, we still got a lot to do. We still have our normal summon as well. Keep in mind that all we've done is we've used the Acasta play, and then we've used Stardust with a Doppel Warrior. So we still have a lot to kind of work around with without even using our normal summon, which is bonkers. So what we currently present ourselves with is I would use Cyber Synchron to make the Converging Will at level 2. And why you would do that is because you can then upgrade your Crystal Wing with Converging Will plus the token, making it a level 11, getting you straight into your Shooting Majestic. So Shooting Majestic then becomes an Omni Negate. It's going to get 2 battle phases. It banishes and can run away, so meaning it's protect itself. Now at this point it's entirely up to you, but you could go Librarian 1 because it's mandatory, and then Arriving Light 2, so you get to draw 2 cards. Broken. Off of the back of this, keeping in mind that we still have Synchron Overtake, so we can even use the ability to special a Plague Spreader from the deck. So you still have so much more to go into, and you have the Arriving Light to special, plus you've got the Chaos Dragon in the graveyard that can be banishing a Light and Dark to bring itself back, which with Cyber Synchron gives you an instant Abyss. So you still have so many more plays to go, do not worry. So what we would do here is I would banish a Light, which will be the Converging Will, and a Dark, which will be the Junk, and that will bring us back our Chaos Dragon. We're then going to sync our Chaos Dragon with, it could be the Baby Mud Dragon if you want to, but we're actually going to do it with the Cyber Synchron, which can then ultimately protect this if we wanted to, but it depends if your opponent tries to destroy it and you're like, right, okay, well I'll use the Cyber Synchron instead, and then I can start using this. So it gives you more alternative options as well. So then off the back of that, you can go into Abyss Dragon. Again, Librarian can draw 1. If I wanted to, I could use this to special 1. It's entirely up to you. What you can do here is you can use your Synchron Overtake. By using your Synchron Overtake, the best target you would go for, personally, is you could go for a Junk Synchron, make this a non-tuner and go into a Herald, or you could bring out Plague Spreader, and that's where you go into Metal Marcher. Metal Marcher can then revive one, but you've ultimately got so many tuners, and the only reason you would do that is Librarian would then be turned into an Omega. So you've really got to think ahead on where you want to end up. The Monster Reborn is just a crazy bonus because that Monster Reborn is going to allow us to get back Crystal Wing, which is just mad. You also have the ability of going into more Synchro level 5, so you could go into an Axel Synchron, and the reason you would do that is so that during your opponent's turn, you can actually build up your board to get a level 10 in order to Charge Warrior your opponent. So the way you would work that one is, let me try and fit the best route possible going forward. Obviously tuning can help massively, Overtake can help as well. Fine, let's go normal the Junk. We'll now use the normal. Junk can bring back the Doppel Warrior. You don't even want to use Doppel Warrior's effect, you're just using it for a level 2 right now. Sync these two together, go into Axel, Hyper Librarian to draw 1, broken. Arriving Light doesn't have any tuners, but obviously if you activate tuning, you would then have that ability to do so. You've got the ability to special down the Core Crow. If you're going to be special summoning down the Core Crow, you'd then be going into an Omega, and then what you need is you need Axel Synchron to become the right level. So let me just double check this. So the level change is permanent. So I'm just trying to think of, like, we're just going overkill here. There's no real reason to do this any differently. This is just to maximize what your opponent has to play through, what your opponent has to deal with. Obviously, a Dark Ruler no more pretty much goes no. So that is one thing to keep in mind. Now, off of the back of this, what you can do is you can go Monster Reborn, bring back your Omega. That's definitely happening. And then you really need to adapt the Axel Synchron's level. So what I would be saying in this particular scenario, you could bring down a tuner, but what I'd be doing in this is I'd actually make it a level 2 by sending a level 3, if we've got any left. Might have gone through all of them. No, last Junk Synchron. So I send the Junk Synchron, make this a permanent level 2. And the reason I say that is if I leave a Mega on the field without ripping one from opponent's hand, or I already use Crystal Wing's effect, I still use that to Synchro Summon. So through all of these plays here, this is your end board. You've still got 3 cards in your hand. You've overextended a little bit, but you've technically got a target negate, you've got a monster negate, you've got a rip one from the hand, you've got an Omni negate for a when effect. Off of the back of that as well, what is really important is during the standby phase, use Omega to put the Chaos Dragon back into the extra deck. Then, once if your opponent, I mean, I'd be amazed if my opponent is able to build a board through all of this. But if we were to negate a monster effect, if we were to banish Omega to rip one of the combo pieces from the hand, if we were to banish this to negate an effect, if you were to use Abyss to negate an effect, at that point, if your opponent has been able to somehow magically play through all of that, you then use Axel Synchron to sync with the Crystal Wing, which is perfectly fine. Once a turn, you send one Synchron monster from your deck to your graveyard, then activate one, increase its card level by that monster, send reduce its card level. Yeah, fine. So then that would make a level 10. Now, this is going to be overkill, but I highly doubt that Satellite Warrior is going to need to pop 5 targets. So it can pop 5 targets, and it will gain 1,000 attack for every target it pops. So again, amazement, if they get that far, you're then going to get a 7,500 Satellite Warrior. And during your turn, this is coming back, and this is coming back. So there's no way your opponent wins that. There's just 100% no way. And that was pretty much like a god play. It still had the ability to play through more hand traps. That's where your end board may not have been as strong because you would have baited out like Imperms, Veilers. The deck can consistently play through 2 interruptions, depending on what those interruptions are. But if your opponent has like a 3rd interruption, that's kind of where it tilts the scales, and that's where the deck starts to lose. So, okay, so now we're going to go second. As you can see, the reason I'm only doing 1 of each is because the play routes is pretty similar. It's just the end of aggression that changes. Like, so if you're going second, you want to aim for Satellite Warrior. If you're going first, you want to aim for like Abyss and all of that. So after another decent shuffle and a good old cut, our opening hand of 6 this time will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfectly fine. So in this particular hand, to maintain our normal summon, we've got 2 cards that can bait out Omni Negates and Ashes and hand traps, and then should our opponent activate anything, we can talents to either steal a card our opponent has that is a massive issue, or bait out another interruption. So let's say, for example, if you were looking at Trizu, right, and Trizu have the they got the trap, so they got Revolt. They'll have a 2 or 3 negate Appaloosa, and then they'll have a double Dragon Lords, right? So as soon as our opponent activates to negate anything, you talents to steal the Appaloosa. Straight away, that Appaloosa then has enough to negate stuff. Obviously, the Shurag would chain block, but it still gives you the ability to null and void the double Dragon Lords, and it can null and void one of the searches. And ultimately, if you give them back an Appaloosa with nothing to negate, it's a dead card. And that's all without using your normal summon as well, so keep that in mind. So what we want to do here is we're going to use 1 for 1 to discard the Stardust Synchron, because it's one of the perfect cards to have into the grave. This is where you're going to get out your Psy Reflector. So this is Monster Negate option number 1, because you're going to use the effect to add the Beast. If they decide to negate this, fine. That's where talents can come into play. You've got the Overtake that can still be a special summon. The only thing, you'd probably special summon this rather than adding it, because you've got nothing in the grave to summon back. Plus you've also got the Stardust in the grave, which will be another effect. But because we're going to go that we've got the ability to continue to play through this, just so I can show you the maximum capabilities. So you add the Beast, you discard the Beast, you add the Assault Mode, activate. You then use the second effect of Psy Reflector to reveal the activate to bring back the Beast, making Beast a level 7. You're then going to sync again into the level 8. This is a little bit risky because, again, if you excavate the wrong card, your combo can be disrupted. But if you excavate the right cards, your combo is only going to increase. So, as with every Yu-Gi-Oh game. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the Arriving Light is the annoying one that got excavated, but because we're going second, we still have a lot of plays to make. In this one, I would probably take... I can adapt the level of that, so that's not an issue. I can maintain my normal summon, so I'm probably going to take the Doppel Warrior to give me maximum which can kind of replace the arriving light extensions that you would normally get. Then we're going to use Stardust's effect to tribute off the Chaos. That will then trigger to give us the illumination. You will activate the illumination as well, but you can also use Doppel Warrior's effect. So this would need to be Chain Link 1, this would need to be Chain Link 2. This would summon down, get the illumination. Activate the illumination, put Trail in the graveyard, setting you up for your light and dark plays, or setting you up for future backup plays should you need. The illumination will then be banished to make this a level 3. Now, obviously, if you don't feel you've pulled out enough of your opponent's negates, you're not going to want to go this route of play. If you feel that you have, then of course you're going to make it go straight into Speeder. Keep in mind, Speeder summons the tuners in defense, so none of them are actually going to be able to help you attack, but you shouldn't need to worry about that, because again, you're going to chain block, giving you 2 Doppel tokens, and then giving you your Junk Synchron, your Cyber Synchron, and your Stardust. There we go. Now, you still got the plays to go if you wanted to hard draw the Converging Wheel. I don't believe we've got it in the grave yet. If you wanted to hard draw the Converging Wheel, you could go that route and just try to Hyper Librarian into it. But ultimately, it's probably not worth it. So, straight away, if you wanted to be aggressive, you could just go into a 2 material or like a 2 pop, 2000 boost Satellite Warrior. But we're greedy. So, if you want the additional draw, you do the Stardust play first. Keep in mind that that Stardust is banished. Get rid of the token. There we go. This one you'd go into Librarian. It can still be useful as well, so don't worry about that. Then you're going to sink into a Crystal Wing because you're giving yourself a level 8 Monster Negator. That's going to boost attack as well when it does attack. Hyper Librarian to draw 1. Caster, broken, that's going to give us another level 8 synchro. Still maintain our normal summon, still have Overtake as a free special as well. So use Dawnwalker. Again, I would discard the Assault mode, it's of no use to you right now. As long as we haven't excavated the Ant, which we didn't, so that's great. Summon those 2 down. You don't have to instantly sync, so you could adapt the level if you want to, and a level that would be better for your draws and all and out aggression, because there's no point in making a Mega right now, is you go 1, 4, 5, and make a 9. And the 9 we're going to make with 2 non-tuners. Could of course be Trish, but because we're going to draw a crud ton of cards, we're actually going to go into Crocosaur. So then off of the back of this, mandatory 1 of Librarian, and then 2 draws off of Croc, so draw 3. 1, 2, 3. This is now a dead card, but this can still be a free extender because we still have the Junk Synchron. Bonkers. So it now depends on where you want to go. Like, we're only going to be overextending from this point on with the particular hand that we have. We still maintain our normal summon. We still have everything else we need. We still have the ability of talents. Like, if we've stolen something that's got a level, we can use that as synchro plays as well. The next best thing is ultimately trying to get to Satellite Warrior, which is relatively easy. And we've also got the ability of going into something like Coral Dragon, so I wouldn't worry too much. So I'll tell you what, on this one, let's activate the Overtake. Now, the more common thing is you're probably going to bring out a Junk Synchron, but on this one I'm going to reveal the Archfiend Zombie, just so that I can get Plague Spreader, because that's going to give me additional plays later on. I could sack off the Crystal Wing, and you would if it's not holding you back. And what I mean by that is if it's not holding one of your opponent's negates back, then you can make this play. If it is, then don't do it. Otherwise, you're just going to lose your entire board. So, like, if you're worried about Nibiru and you think your opponent's, like, holding a Nibiru, then you don't make this play. Yes, you'd still have your normal summon to recur back, but you don't make this play. But if you're not worried about it, we're going to go into Satellite Warrior. Satellite Warrior and Librarian. So, Librarian, mandatory Chain Link 1. Satellite 2. So, Satellite will be able to pop 3 cards and gain 3,000 attack. Draw 1 off the Librarian, tune in, which is fine. We then still have the ability to banish a light and a dark. Have we got lights? Yeah, there we go. So banish a light and a dark. Probably don't want to be banishing Stardust if you can avoid it. But bring back the Chaos Dragon. Sink these into a 9 of Abyss. Draw 1 off of Librarian. What else could we do that's worth making aggression? I don't think there's any point going anymore. So Crocosaur is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 attack Crocosaur, a 5,500 attack Satellite Warrior, 3,200 Abyss, and a 2,400 Librarian. If I really, really wanted to get greedy, I would go normal junk. Junk can then bring back, could bring back doppel, but I'm not going to bring back converter. Put these two into garden rose. Converter come back, bring back the junk synchron, sync these. Obviously you'd get a mandatory draw for the librarian as well. Cool. Sync those into an 8. Mandatory draw for the librarian. Banish garden rose. Oh, hello. Banish garden rose, bring back crystal wing. And now Crocosaur is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5,500 attack. Obviously, I'm not going to leave all of these in my hand during the end phase. Like this, your opponent doesn't play. Like, literally, you've broken your opponent's board. You've maintained so many resources. And even if you were to have used talents at one point as well, you would have baited your opponent's hand out. And if they did interrupt some of your plays, again, you maintained your normal just to overextend into a crystal wing later on down the line. So, yes, the board wouldn't be as aggressive as this, but you still would have been able to get into Satellite Warrior with ease, and you might have even been able to get into a Crocosaur with ease. So, you can see the overall ceiling and power of this deck is nuts, and why I absolutely love it. It is what it is. Like, it can brick. Like, when you're relying on needing 2 components in the form of, like, a tuner and a non-tuner, then it's gonna have the brick capabilities. You're not gonna open up your extenders all the time, and you've seen that when you open up stuff like Converging Will, when you open up the Baby Mud Dragon, when you open up the Arriving Light, it can disrupt your route of combo. It can make it more difficult to play, and that's where experience with the deck comes into it. Of right, well, keep in mind that Arriving Light can put this back to the top of deck. Keep in mind that if you don't have this, you need to think of alternative routes to get to Junk Speeder. So yeah, it's pretty mad, and I really enjoy it. So, if you found this video helpful, please smash that like button to show support to the channel. If you want to see a duel with this particular deck, then again, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. Getting the video above 50 likes will unlock that, and I will try and bring that to you tomorrow, if not Monday as well. As absolutely always, guys, stay completely safe and happy dueling.
Looking to pick up your very own custom sleeves? Well, look no further. Go to yourplaymat.com, where you can choose to have your very own image on the back of sleeves, or you can choose from their amazing range of pre-designed artwork ready and waiting for you. Get them shipped directly to your door, and use the affiliate link and discount code down below to get 10% off. What are you waiting for? Go and grab your custom sleeves from yourplaymat.com.